In a world steeped in corruption and violence, God decides to bring justice and redemption through a great flood. But in the midst of chaos, he finds Noah, a righteous and upright man who walks with God. In this extraordinary story, you will learn about the journey of an ordinary man chosen for a mission from God to save creation from imminent destruction. The construction of the ark, the 40 days of incessant rain, and God's alliance with humanity reveal to us a greater plan of salvation and hope. Get ready to rediscover the story that transformed the world forever. In Noah's time, the earth was corrupt, filled with violence and sin. As described in Genesis 6:5-7, the Lord saw that the wickedness of man had increased. Creation, which once reflected God's glory, was now far from his purpose. In the midst of this dark scenario, God encounters a different man, Noah. He was righteous, and lived in communion with the Creator, being described as someone who walked with God. Genesis 6:9. God shared with Noah a terrible but necessary plan to destroy all life on earth through a flood in order to cleanse it of sin. However, he also revealed a way of salvation. Noah was to build a gigantic ark, a refuge for himself, his family, and representatives of each animal species. Imagine the impact of those words. A monumental task, an impending catastrophe, and the responsibility to preserve creation. Noah's faith was immediately put to the test. Obedient to God's call, he began to gather materials and tools, facing the contempt and disbelief of his contemporaries. Each blow of the hammer on the wood was an act of faith and trust in God, even without any visible evidence of the promised flood. With God's precise instructions, Noah began building the ark. It was to be 300 cubits long, 50 wide, and 30 high, with 3 stories and an interior space sufficient to house the entire designated creation. Genesis 6:14-16. For a man of his time, this task seemed impossible, but Noah obeyed without question. He cut cypress wood, prepared boards, and sealed everything with pitch as God had commanded. While working, Noah faced contempt from society. People mocked him, laughed at the idea of a flood, and saw his devotion as madness. However, Noah remained steadfast. His faith and perseverance showed his complete trust in God. As he progressed with the construction, he began to gather provisions for the long journey that lay ahead, food for his family and animals, as well as tools and repair materials. When the ark was complete, God ordered Noah to gather the animals, 2 of each kind, male and female, plus 7 pairs of pure animals for offering. The sight of elephants, lions, birds, and reptiles entering the ark must have been extraordinary. The stage was set for the fulfillment of God's promise. The great flood was about to begin. Noah and his family entered the ark, and God himself closed the door behind them. Genesis 7:16. At first, the world outside looked the same. The sky remained calm with no signs of changing. However, on the 7th day after the closure of the ark, the sky darkened, thunder broke the silence, and rain began to fall. But this was no ordinary rain. The waters of the deep burst forth, and the floodgates of heaven opened, releasing an unrelenting torrent. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain did not stop, submerging everything around. The highest hills disappeared beneath the waters, and the mocking voices of the unbelievers were silenced. There was no longer any escape. The purification of the earth had begun. Inside the ark, the sound of rain hitting the wood and the roar of water were constant. Although they were safe, Noah and his family needed to trust that God's plan would guide them through the devastating storm. Each day in the ark was a reminder that God's justice was being fulfilled, but also a testament to his mercy and care for those who obeyed him. Inside the ark, time seemed to drag by. The incessant rain and the swaying of the waters created an atmosphere of isolation and uncertainty. Noah, his wife, his sons, and daughters-in-law faced the challenge of living in an enclosed space for weeks, with the constant sound of the storm in the background. Noah, although firm in his faith, also felt the weight of responsibility. During his prayers, he reflected on the magnitude of God's plan and the new beginning that awaited his family. "Why was I chosen?" he asked himself silently, aware of God's grace that sustained him. The days inside the ark were filled with routine tasks, feeding the animals, cleaning the compartments, and maintaining organization. But conversations among the family revealed conflicting emotions: hope, fear, and a deep longing for the flood to end. Each one dealt with the situation in their own way, but everyone trusted that when the waters receded, God's promise would be fulfilled. They were moments of learning and spiritual strengthening, a period in which Noah and his family saw, even in the midst of judgment, God's loving care guiding their steps. As the days turned into weeks, new challenges arose within the ark. The limited space, the strong smell of animals, and the constant humidity created a difficult environment. The prolonged coexistence tested the patience of Noah's family, but they united in prayer, seeking strength to overcome the difficulties. Noah led calmly, encouraging everyone to remain firm in their faith. He remembered God's words, reaffirming that everything was part of a greater plan. Every dawn was an opportunity to renew hope, even when the waters seemed not to diminish. However, the uneasiness began to grow. When the rain finally stopped after 40 days and 40 nights, the silence outside brought a new kind of tension. How long would it be before the earth was habitable again? Looking for signs, Noah began observing the horizon through a small opening in the ark. Waiting for the next step was a test of patience and confidence, but Noah knew that God, in his perfect timing, would show the way. The challenge now was to keep faith, even without immediate answers. After months of drifting, the ark finally came to rest over the mountains of Ararat, Genesis 8:4. Although the waters were receding, it was still not possible to see dry land. Tensions rose as Noah's family longed for the confinement to end. Noah knew that the next step required patience and faith, but also action. He decided to release a crow to check if the waters had receded. The bird left but did not return, indicating that it had not yet found a place to land. Then Noah sent a dove, which returned with nothing. Anxiety grew among the family, but Noah remained calm, waiting for the right moment to try again. 7 days later, he released the dove once again, and this time it returned with an olive leaf in its beak, a sure sign that life was returning to earth. The relief was immediate, but the wait was not over yet. After 7 more days, Noah sent the dove again, and it did not return. This silence was the answer he needed. The earth was finally ready to be inhabited again. The promise of a new beginning was closer than ever, but one last step remained to be completed. After a long period of waiting, God finally gave the instruction that Noah had been waiting for. Leave the ark, you and your family, and bring the animals so that they can repopulate the earth. Genesis 8:16-17. Excitement gripped everyone when the door to the ark was opened, and they stepped onto solid ground for the first time in over a year. The fresh air and silence of the new earth brought a feeling of renewal and gratitude. Noah's first action was to build an altar and offer sacrifices to God as a sign of thanks. Genesis 8:20. With this, God was pleased and made a promise. He would never again destroy the earth with a flood. He established a covenant with Noah and his descendants, and as a symbol of this covenant, he placed the rainbow in the sky. Whenever I see the bow in the clouds, I will remember the covenant between me and every living creature. Genesis 9:13-15, said God. This moment marked not only the end of an era of destruction, but the beginning of a new journey for humanity. The Rainbow Covenant remains to this day as a reminder of God's love and mercy, showing that He always offers a fresh start. The story of Noah teaches us that, even in times of darkness and uncertainty, faith and obedience to God can guide us to a new beginning. Noah faced unimaginable challenges: mockery, isolation, and the responsibility to preserve creation. But he trusted God, and his perseverance brought redemption and hope to all humanity. The flood, more than a catastrophe, symbolizes God's power to restore the world. The Rainbow Covenant reminds us that He is faithful to His promises, and that, despite our failures, God offers us mercy and opportunities to start over. This message resonates to this day. God calls us to walk in His ways, trusting His plans, even when we cannot see the future clearly. Just like Noah, we are called to be light in an often corrupted world. May we learn from your faith and obedience, facing our own challenges with courage and confidence. If this story touched your heart, leave your comment below and share it with those who need hope and inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more biblical stories and spiritual reflections. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5. If you have been touched by the story of Noah and the covenant God made with humanity, remember that He always offers us a second chance. Just like Noah, we are called to trust His plan, even when circumstances seem impossible. God never abandons us and always has a purpose for our lives. Now we invite you to reflect. In which areas of your life can you trust God more and follow His will, even when you don't understand the path? The story of Noah teaches us that obedience to God brings great rewards, and a new beginning is always possible. Don't forget to leave your comment below. Share this message of faith and hope with friends and family who need a fresh start. Subscribe to our channel for more inspirational and biblical videos. And for those who want to delve even deeper into the story of Noah, we invite you to watch our next video, where we explore how this covenant is reflected in our lives today. Click on the link below and continue this journey of faith with us.